I tell you something. You can't release Jesus' character and nature until you first carry it yourself. So the team and I began to let the Holy Spirit and Jesus customize our pursuit of the Lord. I would spend time in worship, then I would get quiet and say, okay, Holy Spirit, now tell me where to read. I don't want to just start from Matthew 1 and go through the Gospels. I want you to tell me my target of where to go. And the Holy Spirit would begin to speak. He would put scriptures or words in my mind. I can remember the first time it happened. The Holy Spirit gave me a bunch of scriptures. I went to them, and even though they were in totally different chapters in the Bible, they were all about the same thing. They were all stories of how people had gotten healed by Jesus. And afterwards, everyone was asking these people, who is the man that healed you? And the answer to that question was always the same: the man named Jesus. When I read that, I know what the Holy Spirit was confirming to me. He was saying that there was power indeed in becoming a carrier of the presence of Christ, that we were on the right track and we wanted to see more healing. So the way to do that was to become a carrier of Christ, because then wherever you went, you could release His presence and signs and wonders would break out, and everyone would have to say in the end, who was the man that healed you? It was the man named Jesus. As I got that revelation, suddenly the Holy Spirit spoke to me again. And I heard John 14:12 in my mind. When I went to it, I knew God was even more confirming to me the truth and the power about becoming a carrier of the presence of Christ. This is what it said, and it's Jesus speaking. He said, I assure you, most solemnly I tell you, if anyone steadfastly believes in me, he himself will be able to do the things that I do, and even greater things than these will he do. Wow. Holy Spirit was saying, you're on the right track. If you continue to pursue another level of Jesus, even greater things than these will you do. How is that possible? How is it possible to do even greater things than Jesus? When you become a carrier of Him and you walk into a room or a meeting or into a store or into your own home, you're not healing the sick, you're not driving out demons, you're just releasing the presence of Christ, and He is doing it. When you carry the presence of the King of Kings and you release Him, then every other demonic king in that room or on anyone will have to bow the knee to Jesus. Wow, when my team and I let the Holy Spirit customize our pursuit, we had one supernatural encounter after another. Right after that happened, the Lord spoke to me again. He said, now I'm going to get you cleaned up for that revelation. And He gave me more scriptures that when I went to them, even though they were in totally different parts of the Bible, they were all about Jesus getting you cleaned up. So I began to decree those scriptures over myself, and I felt a warming in my physical heart. And I knew right then I was literally getting a healing in my heart. But Jesus wasn't done, because that night I was laying in bed meditating on the Lord, and I had an encounter. I went into a deep trance and I was pinned to my bed, and I saw myself walking out of my bathroom. When you do that, it's always good, because it means you just got done evacuating the waste and the dirt that was in you. But obviously I wasn't done yet, because the next thing that happened is I began to violently dry heave up bile. What's bile? It's the junk that's in the very bottom of your stomach after you've thrown up everything else. It was obvious there was something so deep in me that Jesus wanted out that I literally had to throw up the bile that was at the very bottom of my stomach. I can remember laying in my bed, feeling very peaceful, but at the same time having an understanding or a revelation of how violent this cleansing process was. Then suddenly, an angelic being came in my room. He came in and ministered healing to me. He literally hugged me around my chest. Then He took His hand, and in the natural, I felt Him put it on my forehead. And I instantly stopped vomiting, and I was cleansed of that deep-rooted thing that was in me. It's so cool when you let Holy Spirit customize your new pursuit of Jesus. I'll tell you why. Because a supernatural encounter will accompany your pursuit. Just think what would have happened if I tried to do that cleansing on my own strength. It could have taken me years, even months. But because I let Holy Spirit lead me, I had an encounter with Jesus and with that angelic presence that caused me to be cleaned up in an accelerated manner. I advise everyone The first thing that you need to do to become a king killer is become a carrier of the presence of Jesus Christ. I want you to tune in tomorrow because I'm going to give you more steps on how to position yourself to battle and defeat demonic kings. Don't forget to join us. My name is Katie Souza. I'm with Expected in Ministries. See you tomorrow.